Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the European Masters Ultimate Club Championships. My name is Amelia Durbin, and I will be your commentator for this afternoon. We are going to be watching Bonnsai of Bonn in Germany and Fire of London from, no surprises there, London. This is the Masters Open Division, Pool C. Both teams coming away from their first match with a loss against Old CS from Ireland. So both teams going to be hoping to take the win to come second in that pool. There is currently pools of 3, and then it goes into a crossover ahead of going into the brackets. So lots to play for. As I'm sure you're aware, the weather in Vienna, which is where this tournament is held, is looking very, very roasty toasty. High temperatures, so you can see the umbrellas out there getting some much needed shade, and you can understand why. Temperatures hitting about 33 degrees. This team's game's going to be getting underway shortly. But let's have a look at how both teams fared against the Ireland Masters team, Old CS. Bonnsai losing on Universe Point 11-10 to that Irish side, whereas Fire of London losing 15-8. So if that suggests anything, you could potentially say that Bonnsai, the team from Bonn, Germany, are coming in with a little bit of an advantage. But the game is not finished until the whistle goes, so anything could happen. Fire of London, a really experienced side with years under their belt, having been, big players in the UK Ultimate scene for many, many years. I believe it was their anniversary, or at least has been an anniversary recently. And Bonnsai, not heard anything about them in my personal experience, but to be here, they must be pretty good. Fire of London, I know, do have a coach this season. How many of these players are coached on that kind of senior roster, I'm not sure, but it's Connor McHale from that AU coaching circuit. He is their coach, so it'd be interesting to see if any of his play styles are implemented here. That kind of quick give and go movement, big throws, intense defense. Be interesting to see if that is implemented across. Disc is going up now. We have Bonnsai on defense there in the yellow, and we have Fire of London in the green. Interesting kit colors from both teams, but we're in flow now. A quick slip, but he's okay. Close defense. There's the IO shot through the middle, and a fantastic defensive pressure from Bonnsai, but it doesn't go. Floaty, bit of a bump, and there is the goal. Some close defense from this German side. Bonnsai kind of putting a lot of pressure on really early, but a clean hold all the same. That was Neville Jones with the goal to Jaipuria with the goal assist, Neville Jones. Fire of London do have a slightly smaller roster, missing about 5 compared to the Bonnsai team. Be interesting to see how that fares. Bit of a gap between points, but here we go, just going up, sitting nicely, and Bonnsai on offense. Yellow kits standing out in the sun. Just a kind of flick force, I believe, for the Fire of London side. Very free receiver on that break side. Wants the huck, doesn't go. You see the huck striking deep, but someone is in the deep space and manages to stop it. Tries to go open side, but it's not enough. It's a turnover. Fire of London here with their first break opportunity of the game. Deep strike going, and there it is, up in the air to a very free receiver. It's sitting. And it is a D. Lots of pressure from both sides, but Bonnsai calling them over with that hand switch. Injury called. caught up in maybe a little bit of a bump there on that defensive play. I hope they're all right. As we see Bonnsai back on offense, hoping to get in their first clean hold. Down the line, there was a miscommunication, but they managed to figure it out. Bonnsai really kind of clustering in front of the disc. And there is the turnover. I said at the beginning that Bonnsai potentially might have the advantage having a closer game against the Irish side, but currently Fire of London playing with some real dominance. That offensive first look from them was fantastic. Fire of London's second break chance in this first point. See the handler trying to get free down the line, doesn't go, so finds a very poached off player in the middle. Doesn't want the free pass, would rather look into the middle. Lifts it over to that far side. No bid required. Oh, it's turnover just too far. Just potentially looked off a free option in the middle, but maybe it wasn't quite right. So back on offense for Bonnsai. Again, a bit of a miscommunication, but there's someone always there ready to get the disc. I wasn't sure who that was for. Big flick over the top, but is it too far? It is too far. It's a third break chance for Fire of London. They've got a long way to go. Now, this morning there wasn't a lot of wind in Vienna, so I'm just going to take a quick look to see if it's picked up. It has, arguably, but it's only wind gusts of 12 miles per hour, which in the Frisbee world is not very strong. So I think maybe just a little bit of misexecution from these teams here. It's getting into a bit of a grinding point. Fire of London managing to get out onto the near side. Back into the middle. Near side again. This going up. Up the sideline, well received, into the middle. Fire of London doing a good job of stringing together lots of passes in this kind of small space, but capitalising on the width when it's there. Io through the middle, is it too far? It is too far. Like the option. But another break chance, unfortunately not able to be converted. Their third go, third time lucky, was not lucky. Bonnsai on offence. Good peel off. I see Bonnsai looking really static. Defensive pressure from Fire is looking good. Disc still on this closest sideline. Little dishy one over the top. Lefty. Fire of London really pushing back this team. They're doing a sort of handler sag defence where they're making it easy to get to the handlers, but definitely hard downfield. You see a little bit of a poach here, but maybe there's a deep throw about to come as we see one of the defenders peeling off deep. It doesn't happen. Playing a little bit of small ball, great defensive bid. Come to this near side. You can see them ushering. Deep shot going up. And just out the hands, a fantastic bid. But too far. This is now Fire of London's fourth break chance. This is becoming a really long point, especially for so early on in the game. Games are only 70 minutes today. Points cap at 15 and 2 timeouts per team per half. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're able to see a timeout, but they don't want it. And there it is. We see the timeout being called, and I think that is, in fact, the right decision. Very early on in this game, it is only 1-0, and we've had quite a lot of time passed. I'm just going to take a quick drink of water, so we'll be right back with you after this half-time. It's not half-time, it's a timeout. So sorry. Welcome back to the European Masters Ultimate Club Championships. My name is Amelia and I'm your commentator this afternoon for this pool game. Fire of London against Bonnsai in the Open Masters division. We've had a really long point with 4 break chances for Fire of London. This is currently their 4th opportunity. They did call a timeout, wanted a little breath, and it is 1-0. So it'll be interesting to see where this game goes, whether it's going to be a break opportunity capitalised on, or whether we will get a clean hold from Bonnsai. Some discussion here as the teams get set up off that timeout. The offensive line are able to get set, and then the defensive line are able to get into position. And you can hear the calls, we're in, as Fire of London are on offense now. Nice reception, big throw, it's bladey, it's in the air, there's lots of people underneath it, and it is a bid to try and recover it, but the disc was unfortunately out. But love the athleticism, especially in this long point. Travel has been called. The Bonnsai player a little bit excited to get the disc in, potentially hadn't set their foot on the line. Players must now go back to where they just were before that travel being called, and we'll get into play ever shortly. Okay. Bonnsai using the width of the field, taking those break throws to that far side. A bit stuck on that sideline. Bonnsai don't look too comfortable passing this backwards. Even though there is a player free, they're quite often looking for forward or lateral passes. And there is a free down the field gainer on that flick side. Big bid on the force. Bonnsai really a lot from their receivers. They're comfortable to go backwards now. Swinging to that break side. Good run onto that. Flick Huck goes up to the far end of the end zone, and it is a goal. A little bit of fancy feet there, and Bonnsai get their first point on the scoreboard. That was 4 break chances for Fire of London and not able to convert. However, they will be very, very pleased with the amount of pressure and effort they put onto this Bonnsai O-line early. D-line's job isn't always about getting the breaks, obviously, as much as we'd like to get breaks every time we're out on the field. It's also about making the O-line of the other team feel scared, and I think Fire definitely did that. As we see on the other pitch, whilst we wait for these two teams to get going, another open game happening. That was Christophe Sommer with the assist to Garcia for the goal. It's 1-1 in this first 2 points of this pool game, as we see Fire of London's O-line back out now. A very free player downfield, and there is the Huck. Is it too far? Has he asked too much? He has asked too much. You see that the disc came out really flat and not enough lift on it, which meant that it was fast and straight, which made it really hard for the receiver. But we've got Bonnsai now with an opportunity to get a break back. We're familiar with this position as we had 4 break chances in the previous point. So let's see what Bonnsai can do compared to Fire of London's chances that were not able to be capitalised on. Bonnsai moving the disc to that far sideline. handler getting a bit stuck in the mud, but manages to get free. It is a backwards pass up to the sideline to a free player. Players streaking deep, but they don't want it. Just being able to dish it laterally. There's the big gainer, which was perfectly timed across the pitch. Good close defense, just able to in the isolation, and there is the break. So Bonnsai with one break chance get one conversion, and they are now a break up to make it 2-1. Fire of London probably might be feeling a bit disappointed there, especially with the amount of effort and time that their D-line put into that previous trying to get their break. 4 opportunities, not able to get it. That is Guzman with the assist and Mardequat with the goal. Still very early in this game, however, that second point lasted 10 minutes 15, and we are only at 2-1 with 13 minutes 20 on the clock. So a pretty slow scoring game early on. Hopefully we see some more points get on the board in quick succession over time. I think that's what both teams are going to want. I don't think Vienna necessarily need to do anything different. They had an incredibly free player in that isolation play, the one that threw it a little bit too hard and fast deep. It was the right option, just a miss execution. I think that they should not feel disappointed yet. Sometimes early points in early games, you're still working things out, still trying to get things perfect. As we see Bonnsai on defense now, big pull going down to Fire of London, who tries to kind of stop it with his legs, goes through his hands, but it's not a dropped pull. Bonnsai able to set up. And there is the turnover. Bonnsai again on the charge to get potentially a second break, and a little lefty dish, and there it is. That is another break for Bonnsai. Unfortunately for Fire of London, that makes it 3-1. That is Arnold with the assist to Hartmann with the goal. That was a very quick point, only 1 minute 45. Now, Fire of London came out starting in this game fantastically with a really confident looking clean hold. And then Bonnsai came out and had a really shaky second point where they went on for 10 minutes and nearly got broken 4 times in a row. But now it feels like the tables have turned and Fire of London potentially have lost a little bit of focus, and Bonnsai are now pushing to be more successful. Worth noting that Fire of London are only playing out of a 16-man squad, so potentially the heat, the fatigue might be getting to them. It is about 33 degrees in Vienna, which is very hot. So hopefully all players are staying hydrated. Fire of London, here we go. Their opportunity to put that hold on the board and stop the bleeding. See a flood play. Isolate player, but doesn't take it. There it is. Into the middle now. Flick through the middle, again through the middle. Fire doing a good job here of kind of capitalising on where the players are and taking the free option. It is looking a bit cloggy in the middle, lots of legs moving. Oh, just a missed execution on the throw. Puts the receiver on his knees, and there goes the huck from Bonnsai, and it is a simple goal for them. Bonnsai's D-line just really showing class. That is 3 clean breaks from 1 turnover from the Fire of London side. That's a pretty good stat for those who are interested. That is 3 for 3 on break opportunities. Fire of London are just turning over on mis-executions. I think that they're still making the right decisions, but maybe just need a little bit of time to refocus. I would like to see them potentially take a timeout and just reset. or potentially change up the line a little and maybe get some of those D-line players out there just to give the O-line a little bit of a break. But again, there's not many of them, so it's a difficult thing to manage. We see them now walking up to the brick mark from a pull that went out of bounds, hoping it to again stop the bleeding. It is 4-1. Offhand, backhand to that far side. Flick. Able to push it through the handlers. Gets low on the break mark, but just throws it behind the player. Just unfortunate, really. Just a mis-execution. Bonnsai through the middle. Looking to kind of dish it with that strike, but doesn't get it. Offhand, backhand again. Fakes the flick. Flick again. Down this sideline. Fire doing a good job of pressure. Looking to go back in field. Throws a big flick around. Not flick around, backhand around, and unfortunately it's turnover. Fire of London really need to get this in to keep this game under control. They've got about 2/3 of the pitch to go. Again, no wins, so I would be interested to see what they do here strategically wise. So discus called in. A little bit of a flood, but some serious miscommunication on who is meant to be getting the disc in this flood play. Disc going over, fantastic defensive pressure from Bonnsai. Handlers going up the line, but it's just a lot of clustering in the downfield space, but manages to find a release valve. Back into the middle. Big cut going up, and you can see the Fire of London player just kind of lean back and throw it with a little bit too much gusto, which meant it came over and turned into a bit of a blade, and just receiver could not run onto it. Let's see. A great opportunity here now for Bonnsai to get their next break, which would take us to 5-1, but not today. Fire of London got another opportunity to try and get this disc into the end zone for a score, a very, very much needed score. Seeing a lot of movement downfield from players, but I think potentially they're just running too early. See a Fire of London player kind of walking off the pitch after they made their cut too soon, and not the best option from Fire. This is becoming, again, a very, very long point now. Teams are going to be feeling the heat. Bonnsai on offense. You can see all teams are both teams are sort of struggling to get free. There's a little bit of a miscommunication as to who is going where, and Bonnsai seemingly able to just connect a little bit better than Fire. See a high disc go over the top. Well held. And a beautiful backhand over the top for the goal, and that takes us to 5-1. Fire of London going to be feeling a little bit disappointed with that performance. That was Simon Moching, the number 91 shirt, with the assist to Florian Tang for the goal. Bonnsai doing a really good job of splitting the stats fairly. I think they've got 5 points and they've had a different person involved in everything. So a different scorer and a different assister every time, which is a testament to kind of the depth of their roster. They have got a much, much bigger team, and that potentially might be playing in their favour right now. As I said, it is very, very warm out there in the Vienna sun. We see the pull going up from Bonnsai down to Fire, catching it in the middle of the field. A little kind of casual dish into the middle, but just too low, a little bit too excited, wanting to get the player to get the disc to the free player. Bonnsai off to the races, moving it quickly through their free players, wanting the huck but doesn't get it, able to play a little bit more patient. Swing to that break side and disc going up. Pretty feet to stay in grounds. Struggling to get it off the sideline. Player goes up the line and there is the goal. Kind of split two of the Fire defenders there and able to take that space as their own. And that takes us to 6-1. After such an emphatic start from Fire of London with a 45-second clean hold, we've got a bit of a dip for them. That was Franke with the assist and Gottschalk with the goal, with the fancy feet. Fire of London, I think, potentially just need to look at what they're doing and potentially try something different at a slightly slower tempo. I think there's a lot of running around and potentially not as much space as they think they are creating. Sometimes by doing less, you can do a lot more. So maybe a flood play or an isolation play. But currently there seems to be a lot of people kind of cutting each other off. And when there is a free player, they are just mis-executing. So potentially just allowing themselves to take a breath, allowing themselves to refocus and reset, and then potentially kind of coming out with a fresh mindset. I think that would be much better for them. But 6-1 down, we've seen teams come back from more. Hopefully they're able to recover and bring this game ever closer. There is a lot to play for as we see the disc going up. A big IO pull from Bonnsai down to the Fire of London team in green. They decided to let that pull drop, wasn't comfortable catching it. It's rolled out the back, so able to take it from the front of the end zone line. And we are in flow now for Fire to the break side. Beautiful break throw. Tries to get out the line, goes back to that handler in the middle. Not a free option. Good pick up to the free player. There has been a pick called downfield. Not sure if it affected the throw that we can see the player with the disc in their hand. I don't think it affected the closest to us, but it might have done. So we'll see if the disc goes back. It didn't, because it didn't affect. Capitalizing on the face mark of Bonnsai there. Into the middle. Good catch under lots of pressure. Another catch under lots of pressure. This is looking a little bit more like the Fire we saw at the beginning. A little bit more assertive and dominant. Good pickup. There's a free player on that far side. They get the disc. Fakes the IO, doesn't want it. Good little pop from the handler. And there is the huck, trailing and caught. And there we have it, Fire of London with a really well-deserved and much-needed score. That's Charlie Galloway with the assist to Martin Brown for the goal. I think that was a little bit more like how we'd seen Fire earlier on in that first point. Just a little bit more confident, a little bit more trusting, a little bit more patient. I think if they keep playing like that, they can do it. We've seen that their D-line can turn this Bonnsai team. This Bonnsai team are far from perfect. They had a 10-minute point against Fire of London in the second point where their O-line simply couldn't score. So Fire of London got a good opportunity here to push them and potentially get some breaks back. We've just seen Bonnsai go on a 5-point run, and it is absolutely possible that we could see Fire of London do exactly the same thing. As we see the Fire of London pull going up, trailing towards that far sideline, but it is in bounds with big centering pass, giving them about a third of the pitch. Creative shot over the top, and there is the D, and what a D it was. See them pointing, I'm going deep, I'm going deep. But alas, not enough. Fantastic pickup there. And there is the break, as I say. It would not be unusual for Fire to now go on a break of their own. That was a quick point for Fire. I do believe we have had a timeout call, so whilst we have a timeout, I'm going to take a quick timeout myself and I'll be right back with you. Welcome back, everybody, to the European Masters Ultimate Club Championships. My name is Amelia Durbin, and I am your commentator for this pool game against Bonnsai from Bonn and Fire of London. No surprises from London. The score is currently 6-3 to Bonnsai's favour after quite an emphatic break run from 1-1 to 6-1 in a very short period of time. But as the clock was at about 30 minutes, the score is 6-3, and we have Fire of London out now trying to get a break back. Bonnsai struggling to progress down the field. See a deep strike going, but doesn't receive it. Bonnsai just happy and comfortable to work it through the handlers, and that is a brilliant gainer as we see the deep throw go. It's a one-on-one for the players. Which one's going to come up victorious? It is Bonnsai. Potentially an in and out call. Struggling to see the hand signals myself, but I do believe that is called out, so that is another break opportunity to Fire. Flick over the top. Too far. The Germany defender goes no. Twice in a row, has to swap the disc away, making sure it's on the ground, not for the second bid. Bonnsai now dishing to the middle. Looking for the lefty, goes to the break side. Fantastic pressure from Fire. Travel is being called, however. I didn't see that myself, but I wasn't looking at their feet. As you hear the Fire side asking their team to work, trying to get the disc back into their hands. Another call, unsure what the call is. But disc is tapped back into play. It's a fantastic break throw. Back into the middle again. Little pop. Fire defender so close with that little swat. Into the middle of the pitch, and you see the has been called downfield. Surprised to see that disc go back. I thought it didn't affect, but again, I'm not there, and there is disc in play. Looking to get it onto the break side, but happy to take it open. Little dishy to the handler down the line, straight through the middle. Bonnsai looking confident here, in a rush. Break side. Middle. Right on the front of their end zone line here, really taking their time. Bonnsai confident to take the disc backwards and kind of take some yards back to reset. And there is the goal. You see Fire getting a little bit split by the offensive players, and the goal is scored. That takes us to 7-3. It was a much better showing from Fire. That was 2 points in a row where they came out on offense and scored, and then came out on defense and got a break. And then that defensive look was good. They were close a few times there, but again, just maybe a little bit too fast on the pickup and some misexecution. Bonnsai looking good. Bonnsai looking confident on both sides of the disc, whether they're playing defense or offense. Really impressed by their D-line conversion rate. As we mentioned, they had a 5-break run at the start of the game. That was McCulloch with the goal and Schilling with the assist. Again, Fire are going to want to be scoring these O points nice and quickly in order to kind of get the disc back into their favour. However, Bonnsai are 1 point away from taking half time, which would take the score 8-3. So Fire going to want to be hoping to get this one in. So we see a floaty pull going up straight down the middle of the pitch and caught on the knees. It's a good look from Fire, kind of getting the side stack slash across the middle to that free player. Another pick has been called. Just tapped in. Fakes the around, doesn't have it, doesn't really have an option. Looking at his handler, manages to get it to them. And too far again. A lovely throw, but maybe a little bit casual on the release, just kind of pushing it a little bit too far, a little bit too low, which gave the receiver a harder job. Bonnsai now just 1 point away from taking half, and wonder what they can do with it. Beautiful gainer up the middle of the pitch. Continuations there on the flick side. Nearly in the red zone. Confident break with the force, kind of not moving around and letting them have it. Little dishy backhand. You see a very, very free player in that white cap. Handler slashing up the line. There it is. Oh, I love that little move there, kind of pointing backfield, saying they're going to go backwards, and then being able to receive the disc in the end zone. And that takes us to half. That is 8-3 in this pool game. Fire probably feeling a little bit frustrated with themselves for letting them get down early. It's really hard to come back from, you know, a disruption in your flow early on in the game. It's hard to find the mental resilience to keep pushing. They've shown a glimmer of hope with 2 points in the middle there, having a little bit more energy. But yeah, it's a difficult one to call. I think Bonnsai potentially do still have the advantage, but there's lots to play for. And it is half time, so we're going to take a quick halftime break, and we'll be right back with you with some more Ultimate soon. Welcome back to the European Masters Ultimate Club Championships. We are here watching Bonnsai versus Fire of London. Bonnsai from Bonn, Fire of London from, as I keep saying, no surprise, London. Bonnsai have had a really emphatic start to the game, taking Fire all the way to 8-3. It went on a very, very convincing break run at the beginning of the game, and I think Fire just kind of struggling to keep up. Not sure what the difference is. I think Bonnsai potentially just looking a little bit more confident. They're playing through more players. They've got more legs out on the pitch. But I think that Fire just mis-executing some errors. Their defense looks good. Their defense looks really good. I think that the issue, or the thing that could be better, is potentially their offensive flow. But we see Bonnsai out on offense, starting on defense at the first half. Because of that, they are now on offense in the second half, as we see some lovely flow from them. High disc goes over, but well caught. And there is the beautiful inside flick. Huck. And it is caught for a really lovely goal. Credit where credit's due. That was a fantastic offensive showing from Bonnsai. Not much Fire could really do there. Flicks coming out through that middle channel on the break side are really, really difficult to stop and really hard to receive as a defender. So yeah, credit where credit's due. That was well deserved. It's just a hold though for Fire. Just a hold though for Bonnsai with Christopher Sommer with the assist to Henry Weber for the goal. A really good run from Weber, actually. Fast. He had a teammate coming with him and a defender, and was able to kind of use the legs to stretch out and get ahead. Hoping that Fire are able to keep their confidence and keep it together in this game. Getting down and being down is really, really difficult and quite mentally challenging. So it'd be interesting to see what their captain or their coach is saying to them right now, whether it's, you know, let's see this as a training game opportunity now. There's a lot more frisbee left in the tournament. Let's try and build back better, so when we go into our next game we're ready, or whether they are still going to be fighting all the way for this game. You'd like to hope that they're fighting all the way for the win, but sometimes you need to manage the expectations, as we see Bonnsai on defense now. Fire through the middle, and it's just a miscommunication. You see two players cutting to the same space, not sure which one's going to catch it, and I think a defender managed to get a hand in. Bonnsai off to the races, just kind of really able to take so many passes in such a quick amount of time. It's always someone that is free. The defense from Fire just maybe a little bit trailing, but there is the disc going up to the back of the end zone. Some fancy feet and a super, super quick break for for Bonnsai. That's 10-3. That's Alejandro Guzman with the assist and Mjoching with the fancy feet at the back of the end zone. I am very impressed by this Bonnsai team. I really think that they're showcasing some real class. If they lost on Universe to the Irish side and the other in this pool as well, I think that this is a fantastic pool. Teams, of course, after this do go into a crossover, and then that will decide whether they are in the bracket of 1 to 8 or whether they go into the placement bracket of 1 to 12. Obviously, teams here are all going to be wanting to win and be pushing to be their best. We'll have a quick look around at what's happening in the rest of the tournament at the moment. Handle with Care are 8-6 up against Hard Fish, which is the side from Germany. Handle with Care, an Israeli team. Magic Toast are up 6-10 on Uprising. Isno up 6-8 on Silence 3.3. I think that's all the games happening at the moment, as we see the disc going up into the air. 10-3 in this game. Bonnsai looking dominant. Fire on offense. Disc is centered and put straight back. See the hander trying to push people deep to create space. They're doing a bit of a 4-3 Fire of London here, with 4 people behind the disc. It is looking like a little bit of a zone from Bonnsai, trying to work the clock down as we see the big lean back flick going up, but it is comfortably whacked to the floor, and Bonnsai again off to the races, pushing the disc to the sideline, getting it down the sideline onto the red zone line. Bit of a miscommunication, 2 players there, but one gets it. Kind of offhand, backhand Good hand pickup. There was a free player there, but didn't feel set for the IO or the round. And there is now the IO. That was a gorgeous shot through the middle. That's 11-3 now. Fire potentially starting to feel a little bit deflated, and you can sort of see it in the way that they're playing. They're pretty static. That was Benz with the assist to EMUCC with the goal. Keep seeing what I think Fire could do differently. And I think I mentioned about them potentially slowing things down and creating space for each other, but there they were almost a little bit too static. With 4 players behind the disc, it made it very hard for them to find any space anywhere, especially because their defenders were almost encouraging them to take the swings, but they weren't necessarily wanting to. So I'm not really sure what Fire of London could do here to be better, but we can talk about the Bonnsai team. This Bonnsai team have just got a lot more energy. You can kind of see it in the way that they're coming onto the pitch and the way that they're playing. They're capitalizing on quick turns. They're getting really, really good Ds, and their defense is just a little bit closer and a little bit tighter to that of Fire's. See the pull going up, an IO down to the middle, onto 2 knees to catch it, dishes it to the sideline. The continuation is there, but it's not taken. Here comes the slash cut. That's a beautiful, beautiful over the top throw, but just a little bit too far and a turnover, but a good attempt. Bonnsai again, just really able to take the quick throw. There it is, a beautiful around huck, kind of midfield huck to make it 12-3. That was Simon Moching to Christopher Sommer for the goal and the assist respectively. This team looking dominant. I think what's the difference maker is just the ability to move the disc with speed and moving the disc with energy. Fire, again, as I mentioned, are running through way less players, and maybe that's starting to show. It's very, very warm, and less players is difficult, especially if you're asking players to go out over and over and over again. The beauty of playing with more players is that you can rest people when things are tight and vice versa. We are only 44 minutes into this game. As I mentioned, games are 70 minutes. So there is a lot of game left. If Fire want to bring it closer, they absolutely can and could. There's the time to bring it back. But it's up to them and their resilience now as we see them do this kind of 3-1-2. There is a player super isolated in the middle that they want to hit. There's players deep as well. But they're happy at the moment to just kind of pass it back through the handlers. Very static from Fire, with 3 handlers downfield. They're obviously planning something, as you see a point to the space, but it's not taken. Big over the top throw, good pickup with lots of pressure, and there is now the deep shot that they've obviously been looking for, but it's too far, it's too high, and it goes out the sideline. So after all that work, trying to kind of set up the deep strike, it unfortunately is a turnover, which means that we have got an offensive opportunity here for Bonnsai. Swinging into their end zone to the far side, dishing it through the middle. There is a player free straight down that middle channel, and they managed to hit them. Leading the player into space, and there is the flick. But good defensive interception. But another one straight back. Can't keep up. Bonnsai off to the braces with their break chance. Players are free and isolated, jinking around, but happy to take the patient opportunity and swing backwards. And there is the goal. That is 13-3 for Bonnsai. Dominic Benz with the assist to Florian EMUCC with the goal. – So 13-3 now. Fire potentially looking a little bit down and out. You know, they have got a decision to make, whether they push forward now and try and get more points on the board, or whether they sort of rest themselves for the rest of the game in the hope that they can come back firing in their crossover later on. Hear the whistle go, which means play will be getting underway shortly. Pull going up, big roller pull. Good catch from the handler, centres it immediately. Seeing his own now from Bonnsai, kind of trapping the handlers because they've recognised that they're working through the handlers. It's a good zone. Fire looking comfortable, able to push it through, dishing down the middle. Again, another little dish down the sideline. Big hammer over the top and caught. Like I said, there's not a lick of wind. Oh, and too far. Conservation of greatness there after a fantastic hammer catch. Bonnsai, another opportunity now. Playing out of a bit of a vert stack, looking to get the handler free. The sideline from the Fire, asking them to force the other way. Disc going up, down that sideline, and just too easy for Bonnsai. Fire just really kind of not putting enough pressure on them to kind of stop them moving the disc with such ease. It's a big, big run of points now. Fire haven't scored in 8 points. So that was Lenz and Moching with the goal and assist retrospectively. Lenz with the assist and Moching with the goal. It's 14-3 here. Potentially a bit of a walkover. Fire losing 15-8 in their first game this morning, whereas Bonnsai lost on Universe. Just another quick look around the rest of the tournament. We've got Handle with Care and Hardfish 9-9. Uprising, Magic Toast 11-7. And Silence and Isno Master 8-9. Trading it out over there. This game, however, is 14-3. And potentially could be about to be over if Bonnsai are able to get another break. And that would put this game to bed. Opportunity. Again, doing this sort of isolation opportunity where they're kind of trying to set up a big, big, deep strike. Seeing the handler throw a big arcing flick over the top. Once the deep look, players coming forward, there it is. Doesn't get the deep shot, however, players are in space down to the handler again. Good open side opportunity taken. Back to the handler. Far side. No continuation, so much space. Looking quite static from Fire downfield. Just kind of happy to play tic-tac across the back. There it is. Is it too far? It is too far. A bit of a phantom jump from the defender, kind of put off the receiver of the Fire player, and Bonnsai have got an opportunity to put this game to bed. As we see them moving the disc nice and quickly. It's a low one, but it is caught, and there is the goal. That is 15-3 to Bonnsai against Fire of London. A bit of an unfortunate loss for Fire because they started that first point so well and so strong, and then after that they were just kind of unable to recover after Bonnsai went on a 5-point run of breaks. Score went from 6-3 to 15-3, so that's a story within itself. And just wait for the stat to come in of the final assister and scorer, and then we'll wrap up. That was Bertram Arnold with the assist and Efrain Garcia for the goal. Not sure what Fire will learn from that. Potentially that they need to try and be a little bit more active downfield and in the handler space, to kind of running through the defeat defense. I think they were maybe a little bit passive, but also their execution across the board wasn't as good as I think they would probably want it to be. But that does wrap up the game here this afternoon. It's 15-3, Bonnsai taking the win against Fire of London. I've been Amelia Durbin. There's plenty more Frisbee coming your way this afternoon, so keep your eyes and ears open to our schedule over on our Instagram, and we'll be back with you soon.